Hello there, welcome to Venture Capital with me, Katie Philby. Russia's reliance on US payment systems was recently used as a weapon by US authorities to punish Russia for the tensions surrounding Crimea. We look at what's been done to avoid this dependency. Plus, it's the May holidays here, which means it's all gone rather quiet. We'll find out where everyone's gone as the world-famous mentalist Leos Huchard pops into the studio to read my mind. But first, Russia's over-reliance on the US financial system was brought into the spotlight recently. As a result of sanctions, Visa and MasterCard temporarily blocked transactions at several Russian banks, causing chaos. But this punishment has also installed some urgency into the Russian authorities to speed up the development of Russia's national payment system, which would shield it from further disruptions. Now, as it stands, Visa and MasterCard are used for the majority of Russian global transactions by Russian people. This means the two plastic giants get to dictate the transaction fees, and even US retailers, they get sent a hefty bill for the privilege, paying $50 billion annually for this service. Now, Visa is top, followed by MasterCard in terms of use. The Chinese payment system, UnionPay, is currently the world's third largest payment system, and this is the model that Russia is hoping to emulate. So is this ambition feasible? Well, let's ask Ben Ayres from Business New Europe, who's based here in Moscow. So Ben, tell me, payment system in Russia, can it work? Is it feasible, or is it too ambitious?
Of course it can work. It's going to be very difficult to do. I mean, to build an entire payment system from scratch is an extremely complicated thing. It's got thousands and thousands of moving parts. You've got bank accounts, you've got Visa cards or credit cards, and you've got to link them all together seamlessly so that not only does money not go missing, but there's no holes for other people to come in and steal your money. It's a hugely ambitious project to take on.
But do you think in the long run, it's simply, in the light of the Visa, the MasterCard situation, in light of international pressures at the moment, do you think it simply has to be done now, though? It can't be avoided?
I think that the draft law is on the table, and it looks like they're going to go ahead with it. I think the very fact that this whole plan has been formulated and that they're actually driving ahead with it is a testament to the worries the Kremlin have. You have to understand that the fact that Visa and MasterCard are pulling back is a function of the sanctions, or possibly sanctions to come, because it's the one place that Russia is very vulnerable. That any sanction put on any Russian individual means that it's illegal for an American company to do business with them. Now, in the finance sector, that also means it's going to spread in so much as it's also illegal for that company, that American company, to do any business with any company doing business with the individual. So if you think of this in banking terms, that if a Russian wants to send money to Europe, that bank is bound to have, because the international financial system is so integrated, it's bound to have a correspondent account with an American bank, which means the American bank should, in theory, then cut off that European bank. In effect, although these targeted sanctions are between America and Russians, in effect it's going to go viral and affect the entire world and effectively cut Russia off entirely from the international payment system. And that's going to really hurt. I mean, that's something that's really unpleasant. And so the Russian government is preparing for that eventuality should the sanctions escalate to become more general by talking about putting this international, this domestic payment system into place, so they have an alternative way for sending money around. In effect, it means that Russia won't be able to deal in dollars.
All right, Ben Ayres, thank you. Talking to us from a very sunny Moscow during these May holidays. Thank you for chatting to us there, Ben. Enjoy your day. And for a different perspective, let's go to Patrick Young from DV Advisors. We're going to go international now to Warsaw. Patrick, can a Russian payment system work in your view?
Absolutely. In fact, I would say a Russian payment system would be an essential leap forward for the Russian banking and financial system. The difficulty we have, you see, is the legacy Western systems are mostly 40, 50, 60 years old. They're based on, frankly, decrepit technology. It's technology that didn't allow for the internet, for digital networks. And therefore, Russia has this opportunity to create a new payment network that can go across all of the 9, 10, 11 time zones of the Russian state. It can provide an integrated, much cheaper, much faster opportunity for Russian banks and consumers to interact at a much, much lower cost.
Patrick, do you think there's a possibility that it could isolate Russia, though? Would that be a danger?
Absolutely not. There is no reason why creating your own domestic payment system has to necessarily mean that you're not going to communicate with the outside world. Think about it like something like credit cards, indeed, that in many ways precipitated this whole problem because of the Visa MasterCard shuffle, where they nearly turned the system off a few weeks back over the Ukraine. The simple fact is there are incredibly successful payment cards and payment networks that exist in one country that have bare links to the rest of the world. Yet when it comes to commerce and trade, and people really need to be part of that network, they will therefore connect. An example would be something like JCB. It's a Japanese card system. It's not very common in the rest of the world, but where you see Japanese tourists when you go to something like the wonderful Hermes shop in the Faubourg Saint-Honoré in Paris, there you see the fact that they accept JCB cards. Why? Because they'd sell a lot fewer scarves without it. The truth of the matter is, with this sort of a payment system, Russia has the opportunity to integrate the Russian system, make it a lot more efficient, deliver micropayments and other advantages, and if they want to connect to other systems in the rest of the world, whether it's in China, India, anywhere in the West, Poland, you name it, it is not difficult to do so.
All right, Patrick Young, we'll leave it there. Thank you ever so much indeed, offering us a different view on Russia's future of a payment system. Thanks for talking to us today, Patrick.